panelists tonight, and we went alphabetically. It's our old buddy Randy Solomon from Sustainable Jersey. Randy, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. If you'll indulge me, I'm just going to try and list a few of the many kudos you have on your resume real quick. I think we all know Randy. He's one of those guys who's just the glue in the state of New Jersey that holds the sustainability community together in a lot of ways. And so, again, just a few of them. Distinguished Public Service Award from the New Jersey League of Municipalities, Outstanding Achievement in Sustainability Award from the American Planning Association, Joint Resolution and Thanks and Congratulations for Leadership from the New Jersey State Legislature twice, Person of the Year from the Institute of Sustainable Enterprise, the Sustainable Award from the New Jersey Economic Development Authority, the Governor's Environmental Excellence Award, Distinguished Civic Leadership Award from the NJ Chapter of the American Planning Association, founder of the Marywood Sustainability Community Project, author of the report Statewide Change, One Community at a Time, the director of the Sustainable Institute at the College of New Jersey, and of course, executive director of Sustainable Jersey. Welcome, Randy.
Thanks.
So, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, please.
I was just going to say, so what's it like to lead the largest sustainability organization in the state during a pandemic that doesn't seem to end?
I think it was pretty seamless, and I think like a lot of people, we didn't miss our commutes, and I think we were able to do a lot of work, again, pretty seamlessly. And I think we did have to shift a little bit because we, in addition to coming up with standards and guidance for municipalities and schools, we, and trying to think ahead and think about the future, we react to the needs of the municipalities. And so when they needed guidance on how to deal with, a recycling crisis, or how to deal with going online to do public meetings, we would sort of respond with guidance materials and trainings. But I would say just as big as the pandemic has been kind of what Senator Smith and Singleton have been talking about, which is the avalanche of kind of pent up environmental legislation that they have, thank you and applause, released onto the state. It's been, I'm actually kind of an old timer at this point in terms of being in the environmental sustainability movement, going back to the Whitman administration. And really, frankly, it's been since Florio and Whitman that we've seen major environmental initiatives launched by the state. So, elections have consequences, and it's not just Democrats or Republicans. It's, it's these Democrats in particular at this moment. It's Governor Murphy, it's Senator Smith, it's Senator Singleton. And so we're seeing legislation that a lot of people have been hoping for a long time. And in some ways, Sustainable Jersey came about because we weren't seeing it. So it's sort of like, well, the legislature is stuck. It was for quite a long time. The state agencies were getting decimated, and that started even before Chris Christie. And so what's left? Well, how do we make progress? And so Sustainable Jersey came up kind of with the programs, the policies, the ordinances that we thought municipalities could and should do to address our big sustainability issues. And we were trying to get them to do it with goodwill and bubblegum and, $10,000 grants, as opposed to major state legislation. And a lot of the things that Senator Smith and Senator Singleton talked about were, in fact, Sustainable Jersey actions long before they became legislation. And in some ways, that's one of our roles, is to pilot things, sort of the Jeffersonian laboratories of democracy. If you have 20 municipalities have tried something and, nobody got sued and nobody went to jail and everyone got reelected, well, then it becomes a safer thing to try statewide. And so that's part of our role, is to, spur that experimentation. But the other thing that we're seeing that's been really occupying my mind and our time is that, there's some things that the state is really good at and that only the state can do, and that are, the legislature sort of by acting can make it happen and be successful. Things like, changing the renewable portfolio standard and, engaging the agencies to get on top of wind power and electric vehicle rebates, things like that. But there's a lot of things that Senator Smith talked about that really require municipalities and communities to implement. And there's only so much you can actually get done just with the legislation. It takes a long time to build the capacity of the agencies and the municipalities to implement. And I'm reminded of the State Planning Act and the Fair Housing Act. And so when we think about trying to get municipalities to act, the Mount Laurel decision essentially created the biggest hammer that has ever been created to get municipalities to think proactively and to act. Basically saying, if you don't act proactively on affordable housing, we're going to allow a developer to blow up your zoning and build whatever the developer wants, as long as they give you a little dollop of affordable housing. And that is a huge, scary hammer to every municipality. It always has been. But just because it's a scary hammer doesn't make them have capacity that they didn't have. You can't get blood from a stone. And so we saw waves of developers' lawsuits and not good planning out of, in municipalities all across New Jersey. And while a lot of really needed affordable housing was built, no one can really argue that it was done with kind of good planning, and that we couldn't have done it better if we had better planning at the municipal level and at the state level. And so now we're seeing, the state is coming down with, again, full applause, long overdue, major legislation and major rules on stormwater, on climate resiliency planning, on EVs and local EV infrastructure, cumulative impacts assessment. We're seeing municipalities really struggling with a crisis in waste and recycling, and Senator Smith is engaging on that, among others. So again, all these things are going to require municipalities to do something. So just for example, climate resiliency planning, you can mandate that municipalities do it. And probably most of them, not all of them, will do something. But if you're talking about actually getting them to effectively think about, how you change a master plan and how you change zoning to be on top of climate resiliency planning, they not only need really strong guidance from DEP, they need kind of a program of support and assistance. So I think one of the things that we've been doing as Sustainable Jersey, I think as most people know, we work cooperatively with the agencies. We're not an advocacy group. We're a technical assistance and support and a bridge between the agencies and the municipalities. And we try to focus resources to make progress. So we have kind of shifted a lot of what we're doing from dreaming up new things that municipalities should do with all their free time and money to figuring out where we're going to give them technical assistance. So while in Sustainable Jersey, we've got new things on, water and water planning and energy, renewables, energy efficiency, complete streets, building walkable communities, public engagement, equity, local municipal equity assessments, looking at the kind of the local determinants of health and the things that impact health, a bunch of stuff. We've got new guidance, but we're also have in each one of those areas new major technical assistance programs, in some cases funded by the agencies to help municipalities implement. Because without that support, it's just not going to happen. It'd be like kind of waving a magic wand over a stone and expecting it to move.
That's interesting.
You have to really help.
That came up on a call that we were having on air quality a week or so ago. It's, you can have the toolkit there, but if there's not the bandwidth or maybe the aptitude at the municipal level, what's it for? One thing I'd say, Randy, is, the true mark of a great leader is having a good team. And I have to use the opportunity to say thank you for providing us with resources like Lauren. Lauren's awesome. She's a total team player. So kudos to you on having the right folks on the team.
We have the best team.
That's awesome.